Hey, we're going to talk about slope today, and before I really do some examples, I kind of want to introduce slope. So when we have any kind of line graphed in the world, okay, the amount of steepness that it has is going to be defined as the slope, or is going to be described as the slope. So there are four main types of, or there are four slopes, period. First, a positive slope, a negative slope, a zero slope, and a undefined. So here's what those look like. A positive slope is going to be going, as you look at it, from the left to the right in an upward direction. Negative is going to go down as you read it left to right. Zero is going to be flat horizontal. And undefined is going to be straight vertical. We can actually kind of draw a face to help us remind that. So positive and negative. If we give it some eyebrows, that shows us a positive negative slope. If it's straight vertical, it is undefined. And a flat horizontal has a slope of 0. So you can kind of see a face inside of that. It's kind of funky, but there it is. Now, what you're going to hear me refer to a lot is, are we going up the mountain or down the mountain? And here's where that comes from. My brother was, probably like 3 at the time. And I don't know if any of you have younger siblings, but younger siblings are always complaining that, how come my older sibling gets to do this and I don't? Well, it's because I'm older. That's why. But you know how little 3-year-old brothers can be. He was complaining one time because my dad would always take me on ski trips, and my brother was too young. So finally, my dad decided my brother was old enough to get to go skiing, so he decided he could come with us for the first time. Now, if you've ever been skiing, the way most ski resorts work, you get on a lift. You start like at the bottom of the mountain, and you have to go on a lift all the way up to the top of the mountain. And it's just kind of like these giant T-posts with a wire between them, and you sit in this chair, right? And so here's my brother. He's sitting on this chair, and he is so excited to go skiing. Oops, I didn't mean to draw him hair. He had this like brand new hat, right? He had these brand new mittens. I was actually kind of jealous because my mom bought him all brand new stuff, right? And here I was wearing my old hand-me-down stuff. Anyway, so there's my brother going up the mountain. He had a positive attitude. Now we get to the top of the mountain, and it's blizzarding. And for some reason, my brother decided that he knew exactly where he was going, even though this was the first time any of us had been to this particular ski resort. So my brother just starts taking off down the mountain. And what we couldn't see was that there was a sign that said on the right was this very nice, almost flat mountain slope that's perfect for a 3-year-old who's never been skiing before. And on the left was a mountain slope that basically looked like this. That might be an exaggeration, but to this 7-year-old, that's how it felt. But we'll draw it a little nicer. Okay, so we start going down the mountain, and because it was so rough, here's how my brother went down the mountain. Check this out. Here, I'll draw him in green again. He goes, right, like this. He went down the mountain on his face, right? And like, if there's a tree in the background, his glove was like lost in a tree somewhere. I don't even know how he did that. And here's his like ski. He chased his skis down the mountain, right? Like, it was pretty bad. You could say he was having a negative experience. So we get to the bottom of the mountain where it flattens out like this. And here's my brother. I'm going to draw him a little taller. He's gotten a lot taller throughout this story, hasn't he? And it's really hard to draw with this pen, but here's some like tears falling down his face because he's very sad. And he no longer has a hat. right? Because the hat's up here in a tree somewhere. And he's now holding his skis. Like so. He was cold. He had snow down his pants, down his shirt, in his boots. His feet were numb. Yeah, you could say he was having zero fun. Notice the slope of my mountain here. Now, if you've ever been to a ski resort, you should know one thing. The food in the lodge is extremely overpriced. Take your own lunch. You'll save so much money. We always used to take our own food, but this one time, my dad decided that, you know, my little brother, poor him, he's crying and stuff. We're going to go ahead and go to the ski lodge and get some way overpriced hot chocolate, which I was really excited about, right? Like, I was kind of mad at my brother for taking us down the death hill, and so now I was going to go get some hot chocolate, which was a real treat. Now, for some reason, the way this ski lodge was built, you had to go down like a flight of stairs to get to the doors down here. And, of course, there's like a drop-off now right here. Whoops. There's like a little mini drop-off right there. But the good news is they have a railing right here to keep you from going underneath of it. Except when you're 3, you're short, right? And I should also tell this part of the story. Because of the heat on my brother's face, warming up and melting the snow, but then it being so cold that the snow went ahead and froze. He actually froze his eyelashes together, and then they were super swollen from the tears, and like all the water and moisture was just like freezing, and his eyelids were frozen shut. Like, I'm not even kidding. He couldn't see anything. It was kind of funny later because my mom was really, really mad at my dad. You guys ever laugh when your parents are like mad at each other and you're like, hee hee hee, because they're not mad at you, right? So I was kind of laughing at that because my mom was mad at my dad. But anyway, my brother was blind. He couldn't see because his face was all swollen and shut. And he was too short. He actually walked right underneath this and fell straight down. The feeling of falling was undefined. So, I have good news. There is a happy ending to the story. My brother did miraculously not break anything because he was 3 and 3-year-olds don't break for some reason. They just bounce. We got some hot chocolate. We thawed. The blizzard stopped. We went back up the mountain. We took a right this time. We had a much more successful time down the mountain, and we had a lot of fun. And we went on several skiing trips after that and had a good time. And I haven't been skiing in a long time, but a positive ending to the story. Anyway, when you hear me talk about are we going up the mountain or down the mountain, do we have a positive slope or a negative slope? This is what I'm going to be referring to. All right, next up, a video about how to actually do the math. Yeah.